seconds. Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. Oh, sorry. Let me check that it's recording. Okay, it is recording. All right. Thanks for bearing with me. Hi, everyone. My name is Annika Schneider. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the director of exhibitions and artist programs at Minnesota Center for Book Arts. I am going to go through and share some slides, talk about the application process, our studios, share some videos of our studios, and then there'll be time for any of your questions at the end. So I am going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so a little bit to start with about Minnesota Center for Book Arts, if you're not familiar. MCBA is the largest book art center of its kind, celebrating the book as a dynamic contemporary art form that takes many shapes. Our mission is to ignite artistic practice, inspire learning, and foster diverse creative communities through book arts. What we do, we create access to specialized book arts tools, equipment, and knowledge, support interdisciplinary artistic development, expand opportunities for people who have been historically underrepresented in the field, present exhibitions and educational programs that promote innovation and create connections around the art of the book. We are located in the Open Book Building on Washington Avenue, which is in downtown Minneapolis. This is outside of our space and the front of the building. Open Book is a building that houses three nonprofit partners, the Loft Literary Center, Milkweed Editions, and Minnesota Center for Book Arts, among other things in the building, such as the Minnesota Weavers Guild, Fragment Cafe, New Arab American Theater Works. So there's a lot going on in the building, celebrating the book and other art forms. This is the lobby of our building. We also have a shop where artists can consign their work. If any of you are interested, we have an application process that can be found online. I don't believe it's open now, but we open it a few times a year and you can consign your work in our shop. We have a main gallery space. Here is a view of it. And we also have an Outlook gallery, which is a street facing exhibition space. Okay, so this is our info session for our brand new residency called the Boundless Residency. I am very excited to have it. I've been wanting something like this for artists not based in Minnesota for a while, and it is generously funded by Doris Edgenbois and Kathy Ryan. So it is a brand new process, so I am excited to kick it off with this first info session. So applications are due Friday, August 15th at 11:59 p.m. Late applications will not go through or be accepted. So please make sure to get it done with enough time that any technical difficulties can be worked on before it closes. So the application cycle opened July 1st. We are at our first info session. I will be hosting an online Ask Me Anything sort of drop-in Zoom on August 6th between 7 to 8. The kind of aim is that is for people to drop in, ask any last-second questions, things like that as they're working on their applications. So you could register for that if you have remaining questions after today, or send me an email with any other remaining questions you think of. Again, applications are due August 15th. And then recipients will be notified September 25th. Okay, so the applications will be completed through Submittable. If you have not used Submittable before, I find it pretty user-friendly. You just have to make a free account. And this is what it will look like once you make your account and open up the application. We tried to keep the application pretty simple and straightforward, so it wouldn't be too cumbersome for applicants. But you open it and it just starts with, your basic contact information and just confirming you are not a resident in the state of Minnesota, which if you are not in the right place for this opportunity, but please connect with me. We have many other opportunities specifically for Minnesotans. If you're interested in submitting demographic information, this is optional, but it is helpful for us just to measure who is in our programs and for different grant reporting for our funding. And then it is an artist resume. You will attach a PDF. People often ask what should be on this. It is just, showing your practice, your participation in exhibitions, any collections who have guarded your work. It can include teaching. Um, what we're just really using the artistic resume for is just to show that you have some sustained experience in your practice. This residency is open to artists at all stages of their career. So it can be early career artists, but we want some demonstrated experience within an independent practice to show that you're ready for a very independent and self-directed residency opportunity. And then your statement of intent, also attach a PDF. The statement of intent should be 1 page, 500 words maximum, and should include a description of how you will use the time and studio space provided to you. It is not expected that you need to complete a project in its entirety during the residency, but you should have some goals and plans for the residency, and this is the place to put that. Some questions that we've created that hopefully are helpful to you in forming your statement of intent is how we use the residency time and studio resources. What do you imagine your project will look like / be? Why is it important for you to have the opportunity of this residency at this point of your practice? And I would say, just try to be as specific as possible. We understand that in the time between when you're creating this application and maybe when you are a resident next year, people's interests and practices changes and develop and projects move forward or change. So you're not tied to doing exactly what you say, but we want to make sure you have thought about how you're really going to use this opportunity. And then there are work samples. There are 10 work samples for upload. There are many different file types you can see here that I've clicked that you can use. There is not a particular size limit on images. It's just whatever Submittable is going to let you upload, which is a pretty large image. I believe I've never had too many problems with, unless it's like a really giant file, just to try to make it as easy as possible on uploading those images. You can also take some extra words to explain your role if it is a collaborative project, and any other pertinent information that is not going to be obvious to the jurors in the work sample image. We understand like many book art projects are quite collaborative, so you can explain your role in it. And then the last part is please select any residency date options you would like to be considered for. These are the date options. But if there's any exact preference, any other travel, anything else you can tell me that will be helpful for scheduling out residencies, please do. There is some flexibility with these dates. These date ranges were just honestly chosen based on my own schedule with our other programming as to when I felt I had the capacity to bring and support a resident artist. So there is like a little bit of flexibility, and it is a 2 to 4 week residency, so please also, if you know, like you can only do a 2 week residency because you have caretaking responsibilities or something like that, please just let me know. That's why there's additional information. I know it's challenging scheduling things far out and all of that. Okay, so who is this residency for? Again, artists who are not residents of Minnesota, any career stage, as long as you can work independently in one of our studio areas. Artists seeking time and space to work deeply and independently on a project that needs the resources of our studio spaces, and that you have the ability to travel to Minneapolis, Minnesota for 2 to 4 weeks. So I just have gone through some FAQs because I felt like this would be an efficient way to disseminate some of these details of information. So dates or date range, I touched on this. We're aiming for one winter residency and two summer residencies between May, June, and then maybe August. Some flexibility with exact dates. There is also going to be it's going to kind of depend on who's applying and who we're selecting on how many exact residents we're going to select. If more people are choosing 2 week residencies, I'll be able to schedule some more people. If everybody is wanting a 4 week residency, then there's probably only the capacity for 3 artists for that's already filling the year with people coming here for 3 months of the year. So again, 2 to 4 weeks at the discretion of the artist. That will not impact how like desirable you are in your application, whether you can do 2 to 4 weeks. It's just I'm just gonna try to fit in everything on like who we really want to bring as well as possible, and I'm confident we'll be able to make it work scheduling wise. Is a donation of work required? No, there's no specific project or theme that the work needs to be. It's just to have space and time to create new work. Um, is there an exhibition, lecture, or workshop required as part of coming as a residence artist? Um, Not really. We are planning, we haven't done this before, but we're planning that we would like to have artists in residence come and do a public artist talk during their artist residency. If someone was very opposed to that, I'm also open to talking about why and maybe not doing it. There is not a separate stipend for the artist talk. Um, but if artists are happen to be interested in teaching a workshop while they are a resident artist, they will be compensated using our regular workshop pay scale. And that is a possibility if somebody is very interested in teaching in our studios during their artist residency. I would connect them with our education director and try to make that work while they are in town for the residency. Housing is not provided and meals are not provided. The artist is responsible for that. Um, Travel airfare is not provided. There is $1,000 stipend per week that could be used for travel, materials, anything else like that. That is completely up to the artist's discretion on how that stipend's used. In-town transportation is not provided, but we have a pretty good public transportation system. How are the studios equipped? I'm going to get into that more. I've taken some videos of our studios. The residency is not limited to any specific studio. If you are, mostly a paper maker and going to come and really be using our paper making studios, it's not like you are stuck to the paper making studio. All of our studios will be accessible to you if you decide to also do some printing or something else and know how to do that. Um, so the studio is available 24/7. If you are a resident artist, you get a key card. You can work pretty much whenever. You can be there at 4 in the morning. It will be completely accessible to you. We use a reservation calendar to reserve studio time. Sometimes we'll be blocked off for workshops, but our in-person workshops are typically Thursday evenings and Saturdays, and it's not like every studio space will have a workshop every Thursday or Saturday. There might be a paper making workshop on a Saturday. All of the other studio areas will be available for you to work in that Saturday. Is there a supply stipend? It's the same $1,000 stipend per week for whatever is necessary. We are not going to ask for receipts or any kind of report on how that stipend was used. There will be a detailed studio orientation provided. Is technical assistant available? Some. I think it's going to possibly depend some on the artists who come and just working through this new residency a little bit. I have allotted I think in the budget, a couple $100 per resident artist for some studio support through maybe our studio fellows, which our studio fellows are another artist program where artists are supporting specific studio areas in exchange for studio access, where maybe if some assistance was needed, that budget could be used to hire them for a few hours or an evening for some support. There isn't, other than that, any specific technical support or studio assistance available. It really is time to work independently. So if your project is something where you need to be working with a studio assistant the whole time, this might not be the right opportunity for you unless you have the ability to somehow hire someone separately while you're here the whole time. And that would be up to you and your own finances to do something like that. What materials are the responsibility of the artists? So our studios are equipped with basic things like newsprint, ink, PVA, tape, thread that is provided. I always say to all of our artists in our artist programs, that's provided like within reason. Within reason is, you know, not exactly clear, but like if you're going to be using a gallon of PVA, then we would ask you to get your own. Um, but like, but like normal, like consumable amounts of all of those basic things are fine and they're in our studios for you to use. Okay, so I'm gonna show some videos of our studio space. I hope this is useful. Okay, let's see. We could switch it. Okay. Um, I'll sort of explain some things, but again, remember any questions you have about the studios. And I'm just going to go through them. I took these videos today because I just think it's helpful for people who maybe haven't been here in person to see a little bit. Okay, so this is our bindery. We have many nipping presses, standing presses, big working tables, um, board shears, large TV. It's a good space to just also spread out and work. This is our dark room for screens. We have an exposure unit there. We also have a plate maker, but it's not the best. I would not come to this residency really wanting to make a lot of polymer plates. I would just say order that from Boxcar. This is our lower level wet studio for paper making, washing out screens. Also, our Eastern paper making materials are down here. And we also have restraint dryer and we have a valley beater in our beater room down here. We have two other beaters in our upstairs studio, which I'll show you as well. This is our main printing studio with most of our presses. So these are all of our Vandercook's platen presses. This is flat file storage. You'll have a flat file for storage if you are an art resident artist. Vandercook's. This is our um, classroom space, which has a show card press and an etching press, a little baby one here, and a larger etching press that can do about 24-inch by 36-ish inch prints. Oh, we already looked at the lower. That's in there twice. This is some paper cutting, paper prep area. We have two guillotines, another board shear over here. This is our screen printing studio. We have space for 8 people to have screens set up or 8 screens set up on the tables. Storage for screens under the tables. There are some community screens, so if anyone was screen printing specifically, I could tell you the sizes of those that would be available to you during your residency. This is our type library. We have lots of type. We have type in Arabic, Hebrew. We have glyphs to complete Swedish and Spanish and Hmong type. This is our upper level wet studio where we have more paper making and paper marbling. And then we have another beater room, 2 more beaters. This is sort of our upper level classroom. We have another Vandercook, more table space. We have 2 iron hand presses. All of these glass cases will not be here. Our elevator is having maintenance this month, so I had to move things around. But those are our studio areas. Okay, any additional questions? I am happy to answer. And feel free to put that in the chat or just call it out.
You mentioned an elevator. Is the facility accessible?
Yes, it is. It will be. It is not this month, but then hopefully it will be it will certainly be next year, and hopefully this is the last maintenance our elevator will need for a very long time. I can't remember. I think it's like a $250,000 project on this elevator right now. But yes, it is accessible. So we do have studios that are on the main level of the building and the basement. You can take the elevator down to the basement to access the lower level studios.
One more question. What is housing like in
Um,
Minneapolis?
in Minneapolis,
Uh,
so that's a good question to explain. So there's a lot of single family homes. There's a lot of like smaller apartment buildings. Downtown has a lot of like big new apartment buildings. Downtown is expensive. I was not necessarily picturing that anyone would stay immediately downtown, likely unless you know someone to stay with for this residency. Because I was trying to look a little bit on Airbnb and things to just see like if it's $1,000 week stipend, like is this doable for people to come? And it looks like you can get pretty good like Airbnbs that are apartments or like in a duplex or something like that I was like looking at also for like a month. If somebody was come here for a month, I was like, what does that look like to like do an Airbnb for a month here? Um, for like $2,000 for the full month, that would be like pretty accessible to the studios, by public transportation or by biking if you're here in the summer. And I feel that we could probably get you access to a bike if you're a biker. Does that answer it a little bit? Do you have
yes, thank you.
questions about that? Okay.
I was wondering if we don't know how to use some of the equipment, can we pay extra for personal instruction or would there be classes
Yeah, no, you can.
available?
So you can certainly take any workshop that will be running during the residency. We could also arrange for private tutorials. That's something we do. Anyway, for people, let me find our website. Oh, let me just stop the share. We have a page on our private tutorials on our website. So you could just schedule that at our regular rate, which I think is like $90 per hour. Let me see. Here's our private workshops. And you could just let me know you're interested in that before you're coming, and I could work with our education director to get that arranged.
I kind of want to piggyback on that question
Yeah.
and know if we're allowed to use our stipend toward that.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
for
you.
sure. Like I said,
And also I had a
you
question
will
about
have $1,000 week stipend. You can use it on whatever you want.
okay, great.
We're
Because
not asking for any report or receipts, whatever you want. Yes. What was the other question? Was there another one?
it was about the stipend
Yes.
on my project. I'm working with a writer, and I'd quite like to pay him to do the writing. So I'd like to
I
give
was
him a
like,
little.
you can pay him. We will just like pay you out as the artist, and then you will be directly for that. We cannot probably administratively handle like paying them for you,
Totally.
like deduct
Yeah,
that
I
stipend. But
understand.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great.
What are the goals for the residency from your point of view? Like, what do you want to see coming out of these
Yeah,
residencies?
that's a great question. So just to let you guys know, the artists are going to be selected from our juror 3 panels. I'm going to be one of the jurors, along with our executive director, our current executive director. She will be leaving us at the end of September, though. Elisa Voshell. Um, we are both familiar with their studios and practicing artists as well. And then one outside juror that we're going to keep anonymous into the announcements, just for, that outside perspective and to, have another perspective on this that's not just coming from internal staff members. So for me, I would love people who, are really going to be like utilizing the equipment in our studios. We have like such extensive and specialized equipment that like they have projects that really sort of needs this support in the equipment and possibly in the time. And I'm think just things that, this isn't that specific, but projects that are like gonna excite me and be innovative and maybe do something different or be thinking about book arts in a like not a different way necessarily. Like I don't want somebody to just be like, oh, I'm gonna do this because I haven't seen it before, unless it's like really important to your practice. Um, but also, I'm familiar with lots of book artists and I see book arts and book arts projects like all day, every day. So just I think things that will sort of excite me and be interesting and that I also think would be great for people in our community to see and have this artist working in our studios and be able to talk to them and interact with an artist who isn't from here. I don't know if any of this is helpful. I also we've just never done this before, so I don't know what kinds of applications will come in when we're reviewing them, but those are some of the things I'm thinking about.
Thank you.
I hope that's helpful.
No, it is.
I'm very open and I'm just really excited to see what people are going to be proposing and thinking about and wanting to work on.
And then, not quite related, but semi-related. Uh, I know that this is open to artists at pretty much any stage of their career, but are
Mhm.
you focused more on vocational artists, or is it open to anyone who has an artistic interest in book arts?
Anyone with an artistic interest, that is not important to me personally. I don't think it's necessarily important to either of the other two jurors either. Um, like I said, all I want to be able to see and have you shown the application really is that you have enough experience to work independently in whatever studio area you're proposing. If you are not a book artist, that is fine with me too. Like if you are a paper maker who's working in paper really exciting and you've never made a book before and you have no interest in making a book, but you have a paper project that needs our studio access, that is fine with us with this residency. If you're a paper marbler, and you're not binding books, that's fine too. I'm more concerned about it being a right match for our studio areas than it being a book artist residency, if that makes sense too. Not that And there's no preference either way in my mind for whether, you're a book artist who really just works in book arts and thinking about that or not.
And then one more question from me, although I have a couple more, but
Yeah,
one more
no,
for now.
go for it.
Um, if we have a chosen studio area, but that's not available for, workshop purposes or whatever else, is there like a general space where we can work that just has like tables? It might not have the equipment, but at least there's like tables or something where we can
Yeah,
work.
for sure. And like I'm not that concerned about people not being able to access the studio areas they need. Like I said, our in-person workshops are only Thursday evenings, 6 to 9, and Saturday. It could be 10 to 4, 10 to 5 Saturdays, but like we don't all of our space, like I don't know if you could see in the videos, is like open space. There's not walls between it. So like we can't even schedule a workshop in like every space. Like it would be too loud. It would be too chaotic. So like when we have Saturday workshops, it's like there's two Saturday, like there might be people working downstairs in the type library and paper making upstairs, but like then the bindery tables, which are huge tables, are open to you to work, or the upper level classroom. There's other space.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. And another artist did ask me like about storage. So you'll get a flat file drawer and a locker for materials. So you don't have to bring most things back and forth. If you're dealing with bigger things and you are taking public transportation, like we'll work with you so you're not, carrying pounds of paper back and forth or anything like that. There's not, because they are community studios too, it is not like you can leave something like locked up on the press for a week or something. Like you do kind of have to clean up everything like when you're done working for today or that time period. If there's like something that's like really big in production, like you are binding 100 books in the bindery and like you're there till 2 a.m. and you plan to come back at 10 a.m. the next day, like you can probably like let staff know and like we'll work with you like that you can like leave that out and it's not too crazy as long as it's not impeding on other people using the studios, if that makes sense.
What about the accessibility of like different art stores and whatnot nearby to your space?
Oh, good question. So, in our shop, we do have some materials available for purchase. Um, if you need something bigger than that, Minneapolis College of Art and Design is not too far away, and pretty accessible. So they have a store called the Art Cellar. Um, and then it's also a nonprofit, so they're pretty good prices at their store, and they have more extensive art supplies than we do because we're not mainly an art supply store, we're mainly a store of art um, and supplies, but we do have some supplies. And then you would have to go over to St. Paul. I am blanking on the name of the store because I'm in a Zoom meeting, I guess. But St. Paul has a very good art store. They are amazing and their staff will work with you. They will special order things from you. Some of our materials in our store are special ordered through that store in St. Paul, whose name I'm completely blanking on. And they really have a vast array of things and specialized materials. Um, if you're looking for any specific other kinds of paper, there's pretty good paper access. There's Inker paper in St. Paul as well, which is a big paper supplier. You can go and look through tons of paper.
I have a couple more specific
Go for it. Of
questions.
course, Eric.
So, do you have brass hand tools for binding?
We should have some. Can you email me and I can tell you more? I'm not a binder, so I don't know that area of our studio as well as some others. Um, if you want to know anything else of other of you, like very specific things or exactly, please email me and I can look and take pictures of anything like that.
Okay, perfect. And uh, for the type, you have the type library. Is any of that allowed to be used with a quick print, or is there font specifically for the quick print?
I think any of it can be used. I will ask our studio manager tomorrow, and we have a very big PDF doc about pretty much every typeface. I can also send that to you and look at that.
That works. Thank you.
Email me any of these specific questions, and if
Okay.
any of you, the rest of you are interested, I can email everyone on the Zoom as well.
Yeah, is that PDF about the print, I mean, about the typeface, something that's available for everyone? That would be interesting to
I
me.
can email it.
About the wood type.
Yep, I can
Yeah.
email it to everyone.
I wasn't sure. Maybe is that on the website or no?
I don't think it's on the website.
Okay.
I've been
Yeah.
emailing it to a couple other people who are interested in the residency.
Yeah, that would certainly be interesting to have as a print because I'm interested in the print studio for sure. Thank you.
Yep, I can send that.
Yeah, I had a follow-up question about, since we're talking about printmaking. You mentioned the etching, the size is rather small. Would it be possible to go over like to High Point and do some work there if you needed something larger?
I think you would have to work that out with them. I'm meeting with Josh, my counterpoint at High Point,
Yeah.
next Friday. I could see if offhand what he's open to or what
I'm sure
what might be worked out.
do they allow people to come in for days anyway?
I don't know what their policy is on that. Like we certainly do. Like we have a hourly and daily rental rates. I feel like High Point doesn't have something that's exactly like that. I will follow up with Josh when I meet with him next week.
Thanks.
Yes.
I had a quick question. So I know we have like 24/7 access, but you're excited to have people out of there in the community. Would it be ideal for you if people are there during the day so people see you working, or like if you prefer to work in the evenings or at night and nobody's really there? Does that matter to you?
That's fine. Yeah, no, that's fine. I think that's just like a possible added benefit of like bringing, people from outside to stay in and, having people here meet new people, the resident artist meeting new people. But if you are a night owl, like really the goal of the residency is to support you as the resident artist. So I'm not forcing anyone to change their whole sleep schedule to be in a studio at a different time or anything like that. Are there any other questions? Okay, I am going to specifically take a screenshot of everyone here so we can email everyone here specifically. There are a lot more people signed up for the info session. Who is just Zoom user on the thing? Oh, yes. Whoever is labeled just Zoom user, can you tell me what your name is so I can find your email in the registration? So whoever is not Sarah, Jody, Erica, or Kathleen, or Stephen, or Leslie. Who is?
Is it maybe?
Yes, that's you. What is your name?
Oh, me? Oh,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
It
You just
doesn't
come up as
say.
you
I'm
just come.
Missy Bosch.
Okay. All right. Let
I'm
me.
sorry.
No, no, no.
I'm
That's
looking at all
okay.
the other names going, I can't see.
That's okay. I figured you probably couldn't see, but I was like, I can't see what your name is to make
I
sure I
don't know why it
email
doesn't
you.
have my name either, so it's weird.
That's okay. All right. And if I miss you and you need other information, please email me. My email's on the website. I'll put it in here for everyone as well. All right. Thank you all for joining me. And please reach out if there's any other questions. Um, and yeah, I'm excited to hopefully see all of your applications.
Thanks. That was really helpful.
Thank you.
Okay, good. I hope it was helpful.
good.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank
thank
you.
you so much.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, appreciate it.